Now, this is a story all about how Dana White's life got switched upside down, and I'm gonna use this to promote me. Now, what the hell happened to UFC 223? Seriously, I'm gonna make that as a proper song. Remind me to do the UFC 223 Fresh Prince remix song. Right, guys, I was, where do we begin? Okay, I was only going to do a post-Mania video, post-UFC 223 video. That was my weekend planned. That was it. I was so excited for Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov. God knows how many times we wanted that fight. Last year, remember, Khabib couldn't make the weight. Before that was all these other things. The fourth time you think, finally it's going to happen. And unfortunately, Tony blows out his knee, just turning or something when he sees somebody. Already that's a bummer because I enjoy watching that man fight and I really wanted to see this fight. That's number one. Number two, Khabib then gets into one with Artem Lobov. Obviously the mainstream media, as True Jordan said, they don't always cover, Conor just went crazy. We're going to get to that. Apparently Artem had done an interview and he'd been slagging off Khabib. He pulls out of fights. He's not there for the people. The Russians travel all the way over to America to see him fight, and then he can never make the weight, or he's always pulling out. And to be fair, he kind of has a point there, even though I'm a huge fan of the guy. Then he sees Khabib sees Artem. They get into one. Remember now, Khabib has like a whole entourage of his mates around him, which is kind of like a bit, come on, mate. And these guys don't play around. My God, these guys don't play around. I mean, Jesus. So he gets into one with him, and I always see him now. It's like on my phone. All right, it's gonna be eventful. Obviously, now I'm missing out on an important piece of information. Max Holloway steps in to take the fight on 6 days' notice. Much respect for him. I am a huge fan of Max Holloway, by the way. I think he's an amazing fighter. He's kind of like a Diaz brother with better takedown defense. Holloway steps in. I'm a bit skeptical because already he's coming off an injury because he broke his ankle, so it means he's not going to be doing a lot of cardio or any training. So already he's kind of at a disadvantage, and 6 days notice, another disadvantage. So I kind of had this horrible thought that I didn't want to say out aloud in case I jinxed the fight. Too late, and we'll get to that afterwards. So then we have Conor McGregor going completely crazy. So think about this. This thing happened over the span of 2 days. This man is stewing over what happened. He takes an 8-hour flight from Ireland to New York, just sitting there. He's going to get his revenge. Gets there with an entourage of like 20 people. Apparently, like the Mac Life guys let him in. You don't need me to recount this all. We all saw the man's going crazy, like picking like things up and throwing them and acting like a madman, and because he wants to get at Khabib for what he done to his mate, acting like it's friggin' adulthood or something, mate. It's crazy. I was like, what the hell's going on here? He completely lost the plot. Problem is, though, in doing so, he's endangered some other people. Apparently, like Michael Chiesas had to pull out of his fight with Anthony Pettis because of the lacerations to the face from the glass. Rose Namajunas was really shaken up, pretty pissed off apparently. I think Ray Borg also may have got caught in all of that somehow, some way. And then Artem Lobov, because he was involved in that, because he was there, involved in that little melee, whatever you want to call it, he's now pulled from his fight. And like the card just falls apart in the span of like 24 hours. McGregor has a blackout. You can't even make this up. Like I can't even make this up. There's a video of a black SUV and they will get into him. It's like gangs in New York. Quite fittingly, it's in New York, and you know what, the NYPD, they don't play around. So I was like, oh God, I don't know. And it's crazy, but I'm thinking, you know what? At least we have Max Holloway and Khabib Nurmagomedov fighting. At least we have that. And I'm in the laundrettes, and I get a message. By the way, Holloway's out the fight. He couldn't make the weight, and that was the thought I had in my mind. And I didn't want to say it out loud, but it's like, geez. I mean, I haven't seen a more jinx card since the UFC. The last one last year in March. And what about the one? Remember when Faber was supposed to fight? Bowen, all this nonsense happened years ago. It's been a rough week for the UFC. It's crazy. It's like all these things now, and I'm trying to process it all, and I'm like, Here are my thoughts, right? Number one, such a bummer for Tony Ferguson to be pulled out of that fight due to that knee injury. I thought it was an April Fool's joke, but a huge bummer. It's a big fight for him. Interim title, possibly going to be the now lightweight title. Conor apparently was going to be stripped. That's what they were fighting for, and it's a bummer because they've trained for each other 4 times now, and 4 times something's happened to make sure that the fight doesn't happen. So you've got to feel bummed out for Ferguson in that regard. And obviously it means, possibly a big fight down the line. Conor is put on hold with this knee injury. So you feel for Tony out there, you feel for Khabib in the sense that you train for one guy, then this happens. But Khabib was very calm and confident. Max Holloway steps in, saviour of the card. I absolutely love Max Holloway. And then you got to feel for him because he couldn't make the weight. But I'm not surprised when you bash up your ankle and you're pulled from your title fight against Frankie Edgar. There's not much you can do cardio wise, so of course it's weight. And when they said big weight cut, I was like, oh, he's not making the weight. So you have that, and I feel for Max Holloway, and I believe his heart was in the right place. It's just unfortunate that his body wasn't able to kind of get him there. Then I feel for the fighters that have had their fights pulled, Michael Chiesa, and Anthony Pettis and all this. I feel for all those fighters. And I feel for the UFC, which I don't normally feel for the promotion, but man, they've had their life switched. And of course, with the Conor thing, here are my thoughts on it. I can see where he's coming from in the sense that he's seen his friend get into one. But mate, he's a grown man, you got to let it go. And if you want to do anything about it, guess what? You're in a profession where you can sign a contract and legally beat someone in an MMA fight in front of the whole world and embarrass him that way. Instead, he decides to go and act like my youngest brother, not Kevin, by the way, my youngest brother, and just throw all kinds of crazy nonsense and have a tantrum and go completely crazy, and endanger other people. And I feel like, Conor's been walking a fine line. Now listen, people are acting like he's some convicted rapist or something. No, he's not. He's not. It's not that bad. But the problem is, there are signs that this man is getting out of control here, and it is worrying. And I'm a fan of his fighting style, and I like watching him fight. I think he brings a lot of entertainment into the sport, and he's now giving them some good or bad promotion, depending on who you ask. The thing is, though, as of late, this guy's been getting more and more, I want to say, erratic and a bit crazy, almost. I mean, the Bellator incident from a few months ago, when he, God, don't even get me started on that. If you've got him on Instagram, apparently these wacky posts on Instagram all the time, just wacky behaviour, and now this. And it's just like, what the hell is going on here? What the hell is going on here? Now, to top it off, as I look at my feed, I've been hearing this. Now, Chiesa said he was going to fight, then he was pulled by the commission because of the cuts. Probably safety first, I mean, God bless him. Then I've heard this. So, apparently Anthony Pettis and Paul Felder had stepped in and put their names ahead because they made the weight to take the fight with Khabib. And the commission apparently said that Paul Felder was not ranked high enough for them to want to do this fight, which is like, really? And then apparently, I don't know what the deal is with Anthony Pettis now. I've seen some people say it's something to do with money, something to do with weight. I don't know, but apparently there's an issue there. So he's put on hold, so we don't know if that's going to happen. My boy Chris has said that Evan Dunham was the other name. I don't know if it's confirmed, if he's getting the fight or not. And Ali Quinta is the other name. But my mate's saying, Chris, I reckon the commission, if they said that about Paul Felder, they'll probably say the same about Dunham and Ali Quinta in terms of rankings. Again, which is really wacky. You kind of see why. God, they really need some education here with the commission. What am I going to say? But this is one of the craziest weeks ever. Listen, I'll start this week thinking I'll do the post UFC 223 video that will get me in the swing of things, and then I'll do my post Mania video, and that is it. But all this craziness, it's like the MMA gods decided to say, you know what, preferably Odin, my favourite, probably said, you know what, to hell with this UFC 223 card, kaboom! And everything just went to I can't say the word, but you know what I'm going to say. Everything just fell apart. But I'll tell you what, Dana, listen to me right now, right? I can get some shoplifters that can make 155. You'll do us a favour, and we'll do you a favour. I'm that desperate right now. You can't get them. We got some shoplifters that can make that weight. I can get one fight now. Do us a favour, we do you a favour. Anyways, bad joke right there. I'm going to stop. I will be back later. Probably Sunday morning if I still have a voice. Hay fever, thank you very much. So, I will be back Sunday morning. Stay tuned for what I do on Sunday morning. Then I will be back on Monday. So I'm going to let you know, I will be doing a post-WrestleMania video. So for the pro wrestling fans and people who love both, who just want to see me, tune in. And, wow, let me know what you think of this crazy wedding. Update me. If anything changes, please comment down below. Let me know what's happening. And it's good to see you all. And Amwar, good to see you back on the camera, my friend.